Hi, Guido Fox here. Welcome by a new book report. I read for you this wonderful book about the most beautiful stories from the Bible. Nearly 350 pages. I adapt information about the stories of the Bible. And I underlined, of course, with my fine liner the most important sentence. And I want to teach you the most deepest religious sentences, layers of these stories in a more spiritual way. So, more on a deeper way than just tell you the stories. So, what are the deepest layers of the Bible? What say the Bible about self-development, about spiritual awakening, about self-care, about self-love, and to become a good person? So I use these 350 pages of wonderful stories from the Bible to teach you a little bit more about the deepest layers of the Bible and what is meant, what is mean, what is the meaning of different stories. And one of those stories is that God um, created the world in 7 days, and at the beginning he created heaven and earth, the sky, the heaven, and the earth. So he divided universe into two things, that is earth and heaven. And if you look in the deepest form, what say God actually to us, what say consciousness actually to us, because God is consciousness. Important, God is consciousness. God consciousness is saying to us, you guys, you live on earth, but you can reach heaven on earth. Right? Hey, guys, you there on earth, you can reach heaven on earth already before you die. We are educated that if you're dying, you go to heaven. But if you're still thinking that, then enlightenment not reach you now. Because you think you reach heaven when you're dying, you're not thinking that you can reach enlightenment, heaven, now, on this moment. So thinking is always going before action. So you have to think that you can reach enlightenment now, on this moment. You can be awake, you can opening up the 7 chakras, you can hold the 7 chakras in your body, you can opening up, because heaven comes on earth. So that is the deepest layer of creating two dimensions. You can have heaven on earth. You can create your own paradise on earth. Paradise is heaven. Paradise is earth. And later I want to tell you about Eve and the snake. Eve and Adam and the snake in the paradise of God. Tell you there also the deepest layer. But first, the heaven and earth, right? So you can reach the dimension heaven already on earth. That is important to understand. Secondly, God created the humans as his self-image. God is universal. God is consciousness. God is 50% female energy and 50% male energy. So if you are completely balanced, then you can become a subversion of God. So the universal God, you can be a sub-God as human being if you can find your consciousness. Jesus said, I make from every man a woman and from every woman a man. What Jesus said there is, I make you a more balanced person. I let you discover female energies and male energies, female qualities and male qualities. I make you a whole person. That's the sentence of Jesus. I make a man from every woman. I make a woman from every man. He's not saying I transfer a vagina into a penis or a penis into a vagina. No, he talks about energies and your social qualities. So God created humans as his self-image means that you can find God in yourself. You can find consciousness in yourself. And you can become a whole person who is the same as God. So God you can find in yourself. And it's the same a little bit if you're dying, that you go to heaven, then heaven is only reachable when you're dying. That's if you die for God, then you go for heaven, and 40 virgins is waiting for you in heaven, right? So if you're dying, you go to heaven. No, heaven is now already. So you can reach God's consciousness now. And not in the future. In the future will be always better times, right? Your mind is thinking like that. In the future it will be always better. In the future it will be always wonderful. So God consciousness is now. God consciousness is now if you find the knack, if you find your 7 centers. So the world is created, the next topic, in 7 days. And then the 7th day God took rest and he chilled because he opened his 7th chakra, his crown chakra. And then you can chill. So you worked hard 6 days, and the 7th day you chilled in your chakras, you relaxed in your chakras, and you feel your ecstatic chakras. So the 7 days of creation is the 7 days of creation of heaven in you. That's the deepest layer of this story. 7 chakras. 3 hearts on a row, your 2 palm chakras, your 3rd eye chakra, and your crown chakra. So it's 7. 7 is an holy count also in the Bible, as we see by the 7 years of poverty and the 7 years of overflood, of abundance, right? You know that stories about the grave fields, right? There was less food and we had to storage that food because there comes 7 years of bad weather and bad food. So we have to get storage. It's the same. 7 years of meditation, 7 years of centering will load you for bad times. You can survive bad times if you load your chakras. Deepest layer of the Bible. Not sure if priests or other church members can say this deepest layers. 7 years of work. 7 years of 7 days of creation. 7 days and the last day your crown chakra opened. 7, 7. Magic 7 is magic 7 chakra centers. Jesus said only children can enter the kingdom of God. Only children. He said, not only children literally, he said, if you are open, vulnerable, innocent, childish, free, open, expressive, not so stiff, not so dogmatic, not so stiff in your mind, then you can be vulnerable, then you can be more innocent, then you can become more sensitive and open, and then you can reach the kingdom of heaven as an innocent child. So Jesus said adults have to become more child, right? Prostitutes can reach heaven earlier than priests. That said Jesus. He said prostitutes or flirting is open or sexual, are charming or flirting. They are more open than the stiff priests or following the rules. That's what Jesus was saying. And that's also why he was suffering on the cross. Because people cannot follow that reasonings. They cannot follow the deepest layers of consciousness, of spirituality. Because religion is for the crowd, spirituality is for the chosen few. That's for the tiny group. Osho had 3 million followers. And maybe in India and in the world maybe 40, 50 million people. And only 20 people of that group were into his special class. Only 20. Religion is for the crowd. Spirituality is for the chosen few. We go to the Garden of Eve. We go to the Garden of Adam and Eve. We go to the paradise. They lived in paradise. The first humans on earth lived in paradise. But they were eating. Because the snake were telling to Eve, eat the apple. Eat the apple from the tree of good and evil. And Eve took the apple, and we give, therefore, women guilty feelings about life. And that is hard because it is not true. Years of ages, women were suffering because of this story that Eve took the apple and they were kicked out of the paradise. That's hard, right? That's very hard. The apple was very nice and was from the tree of good and evil. What does this tree mean? This tree is the tree of knowledge. This tree stands for the tree of rationalism, of mind, of judgmentalism, and about rules. Rules of what is evil and what is good. The tree stands for kind of wisdom. And moralism. In the deepest layer, we are consciousness, we are chakra energies, and from there good arises. From there good behavior arises. If we going to think too much, we create bad behavior. If we go into our mind, if we go into judgmentalism, you are doing this wrong, you are doing that wrong, we have this rule, you show bad behavior, that is good behavior, and you put everything in boxes, then you are in the mind. You are not in your body. You are not in the chakra line. You're not here, you're there. So when Eve took the apple, and Eve stands for God, I tell you later, Eve stands for God, remind this. When Eve took the apple of the tree, she was not centered anymore. She was out of consciousness. She was out of the connect of consciousness. She was not connected anymore with herself. And she kicked out of the paradise and she was naked. Naked stands for open and vulnerable and showing herself. She had a non-ego. A non-ego. She was open, vulnerable, spontaneous. And when she was eating from that apple and picked the apple from the tree of knowledge and from moralism and from thinking and from mind and from judgmentalism and from rules, she was kicked out of the kingdom of heaven. She was kicked out of the paradise. And she was back on earth again to start over, to meditate and become centered again, to become back to the paradise. And she fall back in shame because she was first naked and now she had clothes. I am a god, I am naked. I am naked. I have to wear my clothes. Oh my God, I'm naked. She was ashamed. And in the paradise of God, there is no shame. There's freedom of love. There's sharing of love. There is no guilt. There is no shame in the paradise of God. There is mental Champions League in the paradise of God. No shame. Eve is God. Eve was created out of the eris, the rib of Adam. That's the new story. Eve was created out of the rib of Adam. The traditional Christian guys are saying women are not on an equal level as men because Eve was created out of a man. Eve was created out of Adam. But this is so false. This is so not true because those priests has misused this information. Misused for women. Ages of ages. They are less worth than men. Ridiculous. Eve is God. Eve is created out of the rib, out of the heart, out of the 3 hearts on a row. The rib stands, the area stands for chakra awakening, the heart chakra. Eve is God. Eve is God consciousness. Eve is the heart awakening. So Eve is kind, warm, innocent, childish, and open and vulnerable. So we all have to become an Eve. We have to become what Jesus said. Become more female as a man and more man as a female. We have to become more balanced and we have to opening up ourselves. So Eve is becoming, if you find Eve in yourself, it's becoming the higher force, it's becoming a higher human being, it's becoming a higher evolutional being, it's becoming higher consciousness. So if you find Eve, you find God in yourself. That's the true story about the areas, the rib of Adam and Eve. Follow Christianity. We humans are bad, and religion is a correcting mechanism. So humans are bad, and religion is a corrective method, and I support that. I think we have to learn in this life. We are maybe not bad, but we are tabula rasa. We are not knowing, and we can know. We can improve, and we have to know that we can improve. We have to know it, and we can go further in life. So I absolutely agree that we can grow in this life. Not per se humans are bad, but we can improve. That's true. Yeah. There are a lot of words in the Bible, from create children, be talrijk, vruchtbaar, en nakomelingen. Make a lot of children. Become talrijk is some sentence in the Bible. What does it mean is that you create inner children in yourself. So the deepest layer about that sentence is that you can crystallization yourself. You can open up yourself. So all those children, what is in the Bible, and making children is in deepest layers that you can opening up yourself and create your inner children, your inner chakras. Your inner children is your inner chakras. You can find those chakras and you can find that ecstatic warm feelings in your body. So making children and divide yourself in the Bible, all those Christian people are thinking, oh, we have to make 12 children and we have to spread our word of God, and that must from God. That is false information. It's about your inner children activities. Page 167, and then we end this video, is about God is de meerdere van de mens. God is the evolutionary trap about the human being. And that's true. If you find God in yourself and you meditate and you're praying or meditate, I think it's the same thing. And you find God in yourself and you become a higher human being, and God is the higher form of human being. So I agree with that. I agree with that sentence. Thank you for watching from the deepest layer of the Bible. Thank you for watching, and I see you by the next book report. Bye bye.